level, but on a national level are ways to get help. So we provide all that information and we try to pull from students, you know, what organizations do you know around here that are able to help with that?
Good. Okay.
And then we thought about this for a while. The sixth and final session, we tried to come up with a game that brings all this information together and ties it up all for all 5 or all 6 weeks. Initially, it was a Jeopardy game, but on the final hour, I'd say at about midnight, the day before the training, we decided we were going to switch it to a Jeopardy style, or a Family Feud style game.
Okay.
Sorry. And the way that came together is just amazing. I ran into a company that was able to develop these great boards displaying graphics off Langlestown Road. Definitely look into that. They were really good, very fair pricing, really good, colorful boards, and we were able to come up with a great way to bring all this information together for the students.
Excellent. That's fantastic. So then you take this into the schools. Let's say, for example, and this is just hypothetical, but you know, there's a student sitting there, and guess what? They're hearing this information. They're thinking, "That's my mom or dad." You know, or the counselors be involved with this, or you know, how's that going to be handled? Because sometimes this information that we're giving them is real life for them, and so how do they handle it? I guess is what I'm, you know, trying to ask. Because oftentimes the parents aren't going to be there; it's going to be the student hearing this information, and it's geared towards the student, but their realization may be that, you know, they have somebody that's in their family that may be taking that step.
Well, definitely, there's several ways that we want to tackle situations like that. For one, even as we're going into the schools, we want to work closely with the principal, the counselor, and student assistant program so that they have outlets within their school if that's an issue that they're facing. But also as part of the overall program for the gambling prevention, information dissemination is a big part of what we do. So if there's information that a child's looking for, or even an adult, again, while this curriculum is for middle school students, we have several other programs that we'll talk about in line for adults in all ages. So that information is available. So it's our job as we're delivering this curriculum to drive home the point that information is there. Any information that we can get, we're there. Like the research, I'm constantly researching. Even though the curriculum's done, I'm always at least an hour or two every day looking at stuff, getting statistics, because you have to keep up with that kind of stuff. And it's hard to find, but we want to make sure all the information that's possible is readily available for everyone.
Good.
And some other pieces of this, even though your initial work was looking through this middle school curriculum and going into identified middle schools in Dauphin County to make it available, you're also doing single events. Talk about the single events.
With the single events, what we're doing, it would basically be a shortened, condensed version of the middle school curriculum, because the way the middle school curriculum was actually written was that you can adjust it really to all ages. I mean, with certain things changed here and there. So with the single events, it would be an hour or so at a community center, at a church, youth center, senior citizens, any place really were at their disposal. And we could also even go into schools if a school would say, for example, they're not necessarily interested in doing the full 6 weeks. We could say, okay, well, we can come in once, maybe for an after-school program. And actually, we have some things lined up. Doing 2 single events next week, actually, with the Schaffner, with the young folks over there. Then also Girl Scout. Within this area, we have some single events that we were looking to do in May. Susan Neville over there has been more than happy to help in that process and move forward with that. They're very interested, and also moving forward with these single events. If it's something that this organization likes in the future, we could push for the 6 weeks. So that's where we are with that, and we're definitely excited to go out and deliver that.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
I think we have about 15 of those that we'd like to have done before the end of the fiscal year, but we're more than willing to do more than that. That's just the minimum, but if it's 25, 30, we're happy to do it.
You know, the casinos themselves have started a pretty aggressive campaign of saying, you know, be responsible, you know, take care of yourself, this kind of thing. Do you think they're doing enough just based on where you're setting, and are you able to partner with them to, you know, really get this message out?
Well, honestly, from where I sit, I would say I have seen some of the commercials where they say gamble responsibly, but then again, I also see billboards that, you know, promote Hollywood casinos and things of that nature. So it's an ongoing battle because I mean, like with anything, it's a business. So I mean, they have to bring in money and they have to do what they have to do. But I would say I've seen the commercial. I like what they're doing with that. And I do believe that they have a strong program in line for that. And I mean, they're doing the best they can with that. And I think it is important to look at gambling responsibly and some of the things we talk about for programs that I've written for the older people is looking at the reasons why you're gambling.
Okay.
Because I mean, whether you want to lose, you have to look at it as a form of entertainment. If you can keep that kind of stuff in mind, there are ways to gamble responsibly, set limits, time and money, how long you're going to be there, things of that nature. So I mean, gambling isn't bad, you know, all around. You just have to do it responsibly, and there are ways to do that.
I remember, you know, of course, we just had a lady up in, I think, Rhode Island somewhere win something like $335 million, took home $210 million. It's like, whoa. So we all had that dream, you know, everyone's been out here getting that ticket, the whole bit. When those kind of things happen, and it's, you know, spectacular in your face, everybody's, you know, wishing it could have been them.
Definitely.
Does that set the cause back, or how does that play out in society? Because you now have the Powerball, you have the Mega, you have the States, you have all these different lotteries, you know.
I wouldn't say it's any of a bigger problem than it's already been. Definitely, even myself, when I heard about that, you think everybody stops for a second. You say, "Wow, it just takes one ticket can change your life." And,
oh man.
But yeah, it's definitely. But
And the odds, though, that's the piece that people don't appreciate.
the odds. Yeah, definitely. In my research, I found people should know that the odds of winning that are about 1 in 80 million. So. And it's all random. There's really nothing you can do to beat that system. So it's hard. Actually, speaking of that, there was a guy speaking with someone at work, and they said this. He had won about 100,000 at the Hollywood casino, about 100,000, and I believe he lost all of that, and was actually in the hole about 50,000 within 2 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
He won 100,000, and that clearly wasn't enough. So he decided to gamble it. It can happen just like that. And it's funny, if you talk to anybody, some researchers, you talk to anybody that's won the lottery, they might tell you that's the worst thing that ever happened to them. Because when you get that much money, you don't know what to do with it. And if, you know.
You think you just spend forever.
Yeah.
You know, and just buy up everything. You know?
Yeah.
Oprah Winfrey actually had a show on that was similar to that, where they said they took a homeless person, and they said, what would that person really do? And they got this guy who was really down on his luck, and he was just saying all these things he wanted to do, and they gave him this large sum of money, and like you said, within a matter of time, he was broke again, right back to the same situation.
Definitely.
It's amazing. So it really does come down to financial literacy, discipline, responsibility, and all that stuff. But once again, we're talking about addiction here.
Yes.
Right? So,
Yeah.
man, tough,
Well, the other thing, you talked about some of the other curriculum you're putting together, because you're doing a couple other things. You're doing something with college freshmen?
Yes, for incoming freshmen, again, I've kind of adjusted the curriculum I wrote for middle school students and geared that towards incoming freshmen, because once you get to that age, gambling activities do start to become legal. I mean, once you're 18, you can, play the lottery and things of that nature. So we adjusted that so it's not so much outright prevention, but more gambling responsibly and harm reduction in that sense.
Yeah.
And that where the middle school curriculum is 6 weeks, for the college students, we only want to do 2 and 3 sessions for that, because it's more direct and to the point, because we don't have to stop and define things as clearly as we would with younger students and get them to understand certain concepts. So with that, we're looking at Temple University in Harrisburg and Penn State Harrisburg, getting there before the end of the fiscal year as well. And I've actually spoken with a director over at Penn State Harrisburg yesterday, who's reached out, and they're interested in getting the curriculum and getting that rolling over there. So that's ready to go as well.
Most people, we all sit around, like I said, and had that dream about hitting out that money. But the fact of the matter is 99.99% of us never will.
Yeah, definitely.
So, why don't we spend our time more in terms of going after those goals, those personal goals we've established for ourselves, and we would probably turn out to be a lot more successful than to, run after these here, so-called
And also
dreams.
a lot more fulfilled.
And a lot more fulfilled. That's
all right.
Yeah.
You really think about it.
And that's kind of the message I'd imagine that your curriculum is trying to, give to these young people. I mean, it's amazing that, even as an older person, we still can have that urge to do it, just like that, you know.
Well, yeah, I mean, like you said, we all have goals and we all have these things we want to do in life, but that lure of winning all that money from where you sit